So right now the A's are up 6-0. It is 9:47 p.m. on June 2nd, Wednesday, June 2nd.
Pacific time.
Is there any other time?
Yeah, unfortunately, because of my work, I've had to make adjustments.
Oh, really? Is like the corporate office and everything on?
Start over. I don't want to talk about my work.
Okay, I'll bleep it out. Anyway, keep rolling. I'll keep it in, but I'll bleep it out.
Sean's going for the complete game.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. So it's the 9th inning, and he's still in. He just struck out someone who I missed. Kyle Seager. Look at that. So let's see if we will update you on if he goes to the complete game. Not that it matters, because by the time that this podcast comes out, you'll already know if he did or not. But welcome to the Town Tailgate. I'm Chris Madrigal, and that's Julio Reynoso, brought to you by Around the Diamond Podcast Network, baby. Julio, I'll let you do all of the follow us on blah 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 blah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's all the jargon. So yeah, make sure to, if you're not already, it is a 1 and it's a 2, the double play, and that's
double
the ball
play,
game.
And that's the ball game.
Dude,
that was game.
Awesome.
110 pitches. He is hyped up, yelling right now. He is hyped up. Yeah, it is great.
Ooh, he's got a lot of gunk on his hat.
He does, but whatever.
Anyways, make sure to subscribe and rate wherever you get your podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify. Make sure that you are subscribing on YouTube so you can see our beautiful faces. And also make sure to give us a follow on Twitter at @TheTownTailgate. Chris, what do we got today? And go ahead and make it a little bit longer because I have to post on our Twitter account since the game's over.
All right, go ahead. Oh, yeah, you do. You have to do our classic end of the game post. Well, I will say for one thing, we're just happy that you listen to us. So however you listen to us, that's great. But let us know on that platform so that we can get more love. All right, so today we are going to talk about Team USA, who has put together their roster for the Olympic run. They have been training over here down in LA at Jackie Robinson Stadium and UCLA's complex. It's a great complex. I was telling Julio earlier today. I have shot there before for a commercial. Very nice. We had some controversial comments from Bob Brantley, former Arizona Diamondbacks manager. He said some things that we're going to talk about how racist they are. Pretty racist preview. About something that Marcus Stroman was doing. And then, of course, we have some A's news, some more. I hate saying this. I feel like every week we say this. Some more injured people added to the injured list. It's like a weekly thing now. Bob Melvin sets an amazing record. And then we're going to kind of let out some frustration the latter half of the podcast with a segment that we're going to call Fuck This Shit, where we're just going to bitch about something that we're upset about because we've been on a roll of bad stuff lately. And then some way too early trade deadline talk. But first, Julio, did I stall long enough?
No, because I forgot to put the GIF.
Oh, we'll delete it and do it again. But first, Julio, I'll go first. Marcell Ozuna gets arrested for domestic violence against, I don't know, is this his wife or his girlfriend?
Yes, wife.
His wife. I didn't even know Marcell Ozuna had a wife. This is a tricky situation. I do not feel for the Braves organization at all whatsoever. I mean, this is Addison Russell again. So, I mean, I would assume that they're just going to handle it the exact same way as they did with Addison Russell. You know, they're going to maybe put him on suspension at first and potentially kick him off. But I don't know. I mean, it's always so weird. I feel like leagues always don't handle this situation very well because they always say, like, it's an ongoing investigation. So they want to wait until they kind of see the verdict. I know they claim to do their own investigation, but let's be honest, like they go based off of what criminal law and how they approach the situation, and they kind of weigh that in mixed with popular or
soda pop.
The view of the public. So I don't know. I mean, I didn't even know this was a story until you told me yesterday.
Yeah.
This was kind of shocking to me. And I think that's the big issue with this, is that it's not a bigger story. Maybe because it's baseball and people are just kind of like not big on baseball anymore, but this should be a bigger story. Like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, domestic violence.
I think they're just trying to cover up. So let's be real. It hasn't been, well, it was its own fault that this has been a bad week, because right before he was arrested, he had actually landed on the IL. He had broken some fingers while sliding into third, I believe. And he was going to be out until August. But now with these charges, he was arrested for aggravated assault by strangulation and battery. He had threatened to kill his wife, and she took his phone from the table, called 911 with it. And you know, it's just something weird about people with Ozuna have a problem with domestic abuse. You know, I hate to bring that person up as well, but it sounds like his career is over. I don't think we're going to see him play baseball again, unless some team's going to be really desperate, really going to bring him up. But, you know, this isn't 10 years ago in professional sports anymore. You can't get away with shit like this anymore. I think the real turning point in professional sports was Ray Rice. You know, dude, remember how awesome Ray Rice was? How great of a running back he looked, and then guess what? Yeah. Everything was caught on camera, and that was the end of his career. He hasn't played since then. And I don't want to be shocked if this was probably the last we've seen in Major League Baseball, at least.
Kareem Marcell Ozuna came back, but yeah, rare occurrence there.
Yeah, that's a whole sticky situation. But
did you like my Michael Barbaro? While you're talking. Do you listen to the Daily podcast? He does that whenever people are talking.
It's Michael Barbaro from the Daily.
Yeah. But when he's talking to his guests, he'll be like, because, you know, he wants to, you know, the listener to know that he's listening, like he's paying attention, but he doesn't want to interrupt them. I thought I nailed it. Anyway, I'm trying to put a little bit of light and humor to this very dark, subject. Yeah. I mean, I just can never wrap my head around, how you could get so infuriated and go so far as to like legitimately threaten the person that you supposedly love the most life, you know, like what could she have said? Like, I mean, it's just like so weird. Like what dirt does she have on you to where you are like contemplating killing this person? Like, that's so fucking, I can't wrap my head around that. Maybe it's a different culture and a different, you know, mindset that I didn't grow up with, so I don't understand. But that's the thing that baffles my mind the most, is like, you always hear like what leads to this is the violence is like they threaten to kill the person. Just like, what? Like, what the fuck? Like, you know, if she, you know, if you've been cheating on her or something like that, who fucking cares? Like just like let her put that out there in the public, and, you know, at least you're still gonna have a job and not be in jail. Like, I don't know. That was a lighter move.
Yeah,
it's absurd and ridiculous, and it blows. I don't understand it.
Yeah. You know, I think we don't understand it because we were raised right. You know, like, you're an asshole, but like you know what's right and what's wrong. And those,
I'm not that angry either, but yeah, I mean, yes. I
no, you get angry.
You're making a generalization. You're making a generalization.
You get angry when you miss fire cup.
When I miss what?
When you miss fire cup.
Oh yes, I do. You're right. I do get angry when that happens.
Or
when the A's don't make it past the ALDS. Yeah.
Or when Bowser gets strike 3 on you playing Super Mario Baseball.
Dude, that's the fucking worst, bro. Especially because Bowser's the bad guy of the series. So you're like, this fucking guy, this guy is the guy who strikes me out. He's like, that's like Bartolo Colon striking you out.
Ooh, that's a good analogy. You know who I was thinking of? But we can go on. I'm tired of talking. Fuck this guy. I hope he doesn't play again. I hope he serves prison time, and fuck him even more because he rejected a trade to come play for the A's like 3-4 years ago.
That's
so
right. Did do that, I guess, bitch.
But you know who reminds me a lot of Bartolo Colon after watching like a John Boy breakdown of him? Lance Lynn. All he throws
Lance Lynn is not that fat though.
Well, one, I wasn't making it this a fat guy thing.
Well, I mean,
you
it's hard
weightest.
not to make it's my brother's
But
fat.
no.
I've grown up with it. What do you want me to say?
But no, like all he does is like mid low 90s fastball cutters, and like he's pretty much asking you to eat these pitches because like, oh, this looks hittable. And just guys keep missing.
It just moves the last minute, like it just moves to the left a little bit. Yeah,
it's because there's stuff on the ball.
Anyway, we're gonna move on.
Allegedly. All right.
Team USA has kicked off their training camp. They are playing, like I said earlier, just right down the road here, Jackie Robinson Stadium and UCLA's complex. Pretty cool. There's a lot of. So this is I was telling Julio this earlier. This is the best part about this team is there's a lot of, for the first time in a long time, a lot of familiar faces on this roster. It's not a bunch of minor league guys. It's like a combination. There are a lot of minor league guys like Nick Allen is going to be from our minor league system. Shortstop is going to be playing on the team, but there's a lot of familiar faces. So I'm looking at the roster now.
Yeah, I have that in front of me. So some familiar names for the A's. Nick Allen, our top prospect, our shortstop prospect in AAA right now. He's going to be on the roster. Former Oakland great Homer Bailey and Edwin Jackson, who have
both those guys, huge pieces of our team back in 2019. I love both those guys.
I loved Edwin Jackson.
Homer Bailey did great for us too, like for what we needed him for. Yeah, I'm
kind of shocked they don't have work. Matt Wieters, former top catcher.
Edwin Jackson's 37. That's why he doesn't have work. He's pretty old. Anyway, sorry.
So is Mike Fires, but Matt Kemp. Matt Kemp's also 37 as well. Mm-hmm. But like, this is an older familiar guys. David Robertson, former closer for the Yankees.
Logan Forsythe.
Yep, Logan Forsythe, former Ray.
Todd Frazier.
The Todd father. This is so awesome.
Eddie Alvarez from the Marlins. Yeah, this is gonna be fun, Julio. I'm gonna definitely tune in this Summer Olympics. I remember the last time they had it, because remember they got rid of it and then they brought it back. Last time they had it, I want to say was 2008. I remember watching the game and just being like, "Who the fuck are these guys? Like this isn't fun to watch." And they weren't like up and coming like big prospects for the minor leagues. They were like middle of the road. Like they, this is like their last shot. Like they have 2 more years to either make it or not.
So I think one guy I think people should really keep an eye out on in terms of like, besides Nick Allen, because this guy is potentially the future of the middle infield for the A's, is Matthew Libertor. He is the lefty he's a AAA for the Cardinals. But if you heard the name before, he was actually a part of the, Rays organization. And he was shipped to St. Louis, and they got Jose Martinez, who I don't even know where Jose Martinez is playing at. But I'm saying, hey, Julio, why'd you bring up the trade? That's kind of random. Well, the other guy who was a part of that trade was Randy Arozarena. So this guy's going to be
interesting.
So Matthew Libertor, when that trade went down, was like super controversial.
Holy shit.
They're like, dude, this guy's going to be a future ace. He's going to be the lead in the rotation. You traded him. Well, they got Randy out of it. So
yeah.
It just shows that the Rays are smarter than everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. And they still have, so many fucking top prospects. Also, another name we didn't mention, John Jay. John Jay and Matt Kemp will probably start in the infield or outfield. And then, I'm looking at the infield. Nick Allen might start at shortstop. I don't see anybody. The only other person who kind of plays the position is Logan Forsythe. But I would imagine Logan's going to go to second because that's his true position. This will be fun, man. I'm going to enjoy this.
And also managed by former A's or Angels manager, Mike Scioscia. So I think the dude,
shout out John.
I think this is a fantastic learning experience for these young guys. I think this is a win-win for everybody. I think there's a potential that if one of these older dudes like a Matt Kemp could come out there and actually perform well, then hell, maybe when you get back, you might have like a month of two of work at the end of this, at the end of the road for you. And for these minor league guys, when you get to be on a bigger stage, you can perform there. I think a little more name recognition will help. And it's going to be fantastic for baseball in general to have, you know, these unknown guys playing at this level. And then two, just learning from these older players. Like these are former all-stars. These are, you know, former Matt Campbell's on track to be a Hall of Famer before. But who was MVP?
Matt Kemp.
No, we'll give him the technical MVP because that was the year Ryan Braun won it, but then he got busted for steroids and everyone's
that's right. No, Matt Kemp was MVP. Fuck that. That's right. He got popped like, was it a year and a half later or something like that? It doesn't matter. Yeah. No, I just want to say hats off to Team USA USA Baseball for doing this in an interesting way. They kind of did it similar to like how they do the Big Three, you know, the Big Three basketball league. Let's get like some young like G League players who like want to prove themselves, and then let's get like these old stars that'll bring in like people to watch. And like I'm definitely gonna tune in more this time around. All right, move on to the next thing.
So real quick before we go on, if you want to know like, hey, what's the rest of the schedule for these games, Julio? Well, that's a great question. They were supposed to be playing tonight against Puerto Rico, and I'd imagine. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, ooh.
They are.
If you're going to be
tonight against Puerto Rico,
it got rained out.
Plus. Oh,
it was rained out.
Is that the end of what you're going to say? It was rained out.
No. I was ready for you to be like, oh, okay. No, they're rescheduling it tomorrow. It's too late for you all.
Yeah.
But tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Julio, tweet it out. All
right, tomorrow at 8 a.m. United, and then they play on the 4th at 4 p.m. And then on the 5th at 4 p.m.
My birthday party.
Anyways.
Julio will tweet that out so that it gets to your information tonight. All right. All on ESPN Plus, so you have to have an ESPN Plus subscription, but if you don't have ESPN Plus, you should get it because it's dope. All right, so last piece on the Big Three national news. Bob Brantley. Okay, so yesterday the Mets were playing. I believe they were in Arizona, playing the Diamondbacks, and Marcus Stroman decided to wear a do-rag underneath his hat, and he was pitching yesterday. No big deal. People wear do-rags. The purpose of a do-rag is to keep your hair down, especially for African-American people with nappy hair, especially in humid places. The hair will, like anybody's hair, but more so for nappy hair, it raises up and kind of gets all messy. So African-American people like to wear do-rags to keep their hair down. It's pretty common. Everybody in this listening to this podcast definitely knows, especially if you're from Oakland. So he wore it underneath his hat. He made a joke on the broadcast. They brought it up and talked about it because it was kind of sticking out at the back of his hat. And he says, that's an interesting do-rag he has there. A lot similar to the one that Tom Seaver used to wear. I'm just like, wait, what? It was kind of just an out of nowhere random joke. I don't know if he fully realized the kind of joke that he was making. Maybe he was a little bit, broadcasters, there's a lot of time to fill in a baseball game, not a lot of action. You kind of have a lot of banter. So maybe he just thought it was a dumb joke, but that ignorance probably kind of shows a little piece of who he actually is. It's not really, I haven't heard anything about punishment or anything for him, but there's no place in the game for that. If you're a regular listener to this podcast, you know how we feel. This is kind of a woke podcast where we're not here for racism. And it just was very frustrating and upsetting to see. I didn't understand. I thought maybe Tom Seaver used to wear something under his hat, so I had to text Julio. I was like,
imagine if Tom Seaver actually did wear a do-rag and we were just like,
well, I mean, maybe he wore like
he
I don't
did
know, a
it
towel or something. Yeah. So I was like, oh, maybe he's making a reference. So I was like, Julio, can you like maybe give me some context, or is he just being racist? And you're like, he's just being racist.
Yeah, it's a sticky. So he came out and apologized immediately afterwards, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on this one.
Yeah, same.
I think this is more in lieu of.
No, I know he apologized.
He apologized. Marcus Stroman went up Twitter because Marcus is the shit. If you don't follow him on Twitter, I think he's a great follow. He's very outspoken. He's a really fun personality there. But like, unfortunately, as a black man in baseball, and especially in a position where I know we don't have many black men as pitchers in baseball. He's
African American men, not necessarily black.
Yes,
I would say, because there are a lot of Latin pitchers from Dominican or wherever.
Thank you. Yes. He's had to kind of stick it for himself. So he tweeted onward and upward through all diversity and racist undertones. The climb continues through all. I think we're starting to get to the point now with something like this. People really just need to learn. But now when the one Reds announcer got fired, because of what he was saying on the air, fuck that guy. Like, that's straight up terrible.
He clearly uses that word pretty freely, which is the problem. Yeah, that was a little different story.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas with Bob Brantley, it just seems like he, was trying to be fun and cheeky, but in reality, it's like, hey, you can't really say those kind of things anymore. You never should have been able to say those things anymore, period. But like, now's the time that you can't really do it. And actually, it's weird. I actually had to explain to somebody who they're like, hey, what was the big deal about this? And this is somebody who was actually like pretty, left oriented, for lack of better words. He's like, hey, I don't really get why this is a big deal. Like, imagine how I would have felt if somebody would have said, oh yeah, Tom Seaver used to wear a sombrero under his hat. What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Like that's, even if you were trying to be funny, I'm like, what were you trying to say about that? That just doesn't seem right to me.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully this is a learning experience, and hopefully he's somebody that will kind of take this moment and really grow from it and learn from it.
Yeah.
Because if not, you bet your ass we're really going to roast him the next time he does something.
Yeah. He's never really had issues like this. I mean, the guy fucking lives in Arizona. Like, that's like, which California and Texas is like probably the second biggest country with like a heavy Mexican influence in it, state with heavy Mexican influence in it. So it makes sense. I didn't know that he apologized. So now I know that because I kind of like had a feeling, which we talked about off air, like, I don't know, maybe it's a little more innocent, ignorantly racist or something like that, which is, that's still not okay. But, at least he like, it's not like malicious intent. Like Myers Leonard. But so now I know.
And then he got traded to Oklahoma City.
Yeah, sounds like it's genuine. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on him. Former World Series manager, whatever that. If that.
And I was just every once in a while because I play the show a lot, and
that you do.
I was playing a game against the Diamondbacks. And I was just looking at the retired numbers. It's Luis Gonzalez, Randy Johnson, and then Jackie Robinson. He is not. But man, what an awesome team. Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling,
Tony Womack,
Matt Williams, Tony Womack, Craig Counsell, Reggie Williams,
their closer,
Steve Finley,
a young Kim.
Who's their catcher? Catcher was sick.
I don't know who their catcher was. It was just a lot of so Luis Gonzalez was like the star offensively, but that team was built around the two stud pitch. Well, yeah.
Former Oakland great Damian Miller was the catcher.
Interesting. But they had like a lot of really good role guys offensively, and then those pitchers were just dominant. I mean, those pitchers pitched in every single game. All right, moving on.
Also, there's actually one more person.
No, Julio has another fun fact.
No, because it's a fun fact. Because guess what? The freaking transition god over here is going to transition this shit like a mofo.
God.
Transition god. So we talked about Bob Brantley was the
spit it out
manager.
Leo.
Was the manager. Well, guess what? Who was a bench manager for that team? None other than the all-time wins leader in Oakland A's coaching history, Bob Melvin. Congrats.
Bo Mel, baby.
Bo Mel.
That'll happen when you manage a team for 10 years.
Wait, well, transition? Give me a grade. Come on.
Give you a grade?
Yeah. Well, how's that transition grade?
Oh, that was top notch. There you
go. Anyways, yeah.
I'll give that one to you for sure. Yeah, congratulations, Bob. We all knew this was coming this season, though. We all knew that we talked about it at the beginning of the season for like the preview. Like it, I think that he will go down as the greatest Oakland A manager of all time, especially if he wins just one World Series, because then he'll beat La Russa with that. But he's been the manager for 10 years. He's had an insane amount of success with nothing to work with, and he deserves the praise. I know Jessica Kleinschmidt did a big tribute to him on the pregame show today, which was pretty cool. If you want to check that out, I'm sure she posted a link of it. But yeah, he's the
I think Bo Mel. I don't care what people say about him. He's an amazing manager. Like, look, what you said, because here's the thing about La Russa was at the time La Russa was coaching, when it was those 3 years, 3 World Series appearances, winning one. Roids, yes. Roids and Coke, allegedly. But also the highest payroll in baseball, which people probably don't realize that. At least people our age might not realize that. But
the Haas family was a different type of ownership, people. And also the team across the bay was fucking terrible. So they saw
not in 89, but
not in 89.
They were terrible enough.
But they were historically terrible in the Bay Area to where they saw an opportunity to where if they can put a good, fun team on the field, and they could take most of that crowd. You ask anybody who grew up in the late 80s, they'll tell you the team in the Bay, the team was the A's. The Giants were an afterthought, basically the opposite of what it is now.
But yeah, so that kind of shows you that, La Russa put all those wins, but look how much advantages he had.
Yeah.
And, Bo Mel, consistently one of the lowest payrolls in baseball. He really just gets the best out of his guys. And it was funny. So they did a post game last night with Tony Kemp, who absolute fuego. Love that man right now. But he said,
we'll talk about that later.
He said they're like, we were kind of slacking a little bit, and then Bo Mel got to the top steps, and he really went off on us, kind of thing. They're like, and Bo Mel said after the game, he's like, I'm not the kind of guy. I don't really, because he's so mellow,
raw kind of guy.
He's like, I'm not that kind of man. Just, every once in a while, it really means more when you do it, kind of thing. And that just shows the greatness of that guy. So congrats, Bo Mel. Cheers to you, bud.
Cheers, buddy.
Hope you get many more wins in that big win in Oakland.
Also, I think what I like the most about Bo Mel's tenure is that when shit got tough, like when the guys left, he didn't jump ship, which is what La Russa did. As soon as those guys, those big names left, he was fucking out of there, and he went to St. Louis and did his thing there. And the lack of success in the postseason is what it is. I would blame that on the front office more than I would him. I think he's getting everything he can out of the guys he can. So good shit. Any last things on Bob Melvin?
Great job.
All right, and we're going to move on next to some more Dave Kaval news. I'm a little burnt out on talking about this, so we'll keep it quick, Julio. He's picking fights on Twitter with Bay Area media. It's a war you really don't want to get into. I mean, I don't know how, these are very intelligent writers and journalists. Specifically the people that he's kind of going after. And we all know Tim Kawakami, and we all know Tim Kawakami. TK loves to call out bullshit from the A's. So if you're gonna post shit like that on Twitter, Dave, you better be ready, because him, Marcus Thompson, those guys don't fuck around. And it's just been a brutal just slaughtering in social media, which has been interesting to watch.
So if you didn't see, if you're not on Twitter, you're probably not seeing this because it's not really posting articles about it. But there was a series of tweets that were going around where there was an article coming out about just more stuff from the Sporting Green of the SF Chronicle, their sports section. Mm-hmm. That we're more or less just kind of bashing this situation, which has been going on for a long time. But somebody said, Dave, find a way to further ahead of this $855 million thing. Too much lazy journalism happening. Glad to see KTVU figure out. They actually put up like a pretty good piece about the back ends of it. He says, I wouldn't call it journalism. Those dollars only exist if we build a project. And Ben Ross, shout out to Ben Ross, big fan of his. So now he's attacking local media. Writer. And Dave Cavill quote tweeted it saying, quote tweet is when you repurpose what that person said and put your own comment into it. But he said, do you think SF-based media has been fair to our visionary project with the picture of Howard's terminal? Which he's not wrong. At the end of the day,
I don't know. Marcus put out a really interesting piece this week in favor of Howard Terminal, talking about its flaws, but he wanted to like be in favor and kind of say like what good things it could bring. So I wouldn't, I mean, that's just devil's advocate, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, because that Marcus piece is actually really insightful. If you're not subscribed to Athletic and you're just not getting an insight, like it's really great stuff. He brought up the point that like, look, he understands, he's a lifelong Oakland resident. He's lived in West Oakland for a long time. And look, he understands the problems that city is facing, like many problems around the country with other cities. And he's like, at the end of the day, what's really going to help boost that environment? What's really going to help or boost the economy there? What's going to help bring more people jobs is something at this grand of scale. And like, unless you can propose something at this big of a scale that, there's going to be some taxation behind it at that level, then you got to do it, especially right now when, that region's really still suffering in the post-COVID world. And not post, you know what I mean?
Marcus is 2 for 2 on stadium articles. It's pretty good. Alex has been covering a lot too. I haven't seen her touch on this yet though. Maybe she might have put something out this week, but I haven't read it. She's been great. If you don't follow Alex Coffey from The Athletic, she's been really covering it like fucking. She's been so on top of it. It's been great. And she's not even from here. She just like that. She's just been doing the same amount of research.
She's a New Yorker. She doesn't take shit. That's why.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
It's that New Yorker attitude, man.
I don't know, man. This is an ongoing story that's gonna keep going. It's gonna keep it's gonna keep being on our rundown, unfortunately. But this is just the latest piece in it. I don't know if you have anything more to add to that, but I'm just burnt out on it.
Yeah, if you're an Oakland resident, if you're make sure to get in contact with your city council members to make sure that they're going to be voting yes on this. If you have any family members who aren't aware of this and who live in Oakland, make sure to make them to give that knowledge, because like at the end of the day, it's like what Marshawn said, you lost the Raiders, you lost the Warriors, you better not lose the A's. All right, I'm out.
On that note, we're going to take a break, so stick around and we'll be right back. Did you see Cruella in theaters?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think it needs to be seen in theaters, or could you see it at home? Because honestly, I don't really have like that movie doesn't interest me enough for me to want to go see it in theaters.
No, but I think as somebody who like you work in film and you studied film in college,
Yeah.
I think you're really going to appreciate like the set design of it. You're really going to appreciate the costuming of it. And Emma Stone fucking knocks it out. She's so good in it.
I don't know, man. To be honest with you, I don't have much respect for like sequels or like prequels, like all this stuff like that in terms of like the costume and art direction, because you're basing it off of someone else's creative vision.
Dude. So I'm gonna throw out some of my pitches for you to help sell you on this movie a little bit more. Okay. The director is I'm gonna look up his name real quick while I talk to you about it. But Emma Stone's in it, and
yeah, I know that
she was fantastic, and Emma
Thomas is too.
Yeah, Emma Thompson, but it's directed by Craig Gillespie, who also directed super underrated I, Tonya.
Yeah, I like.
Did you see why?
I like Tonya.
Yeah, and then the
not really stylized though like this, but yeah.
No, of course not. But I believe one of the screenplay writers, yes, Tony McNamara, did also one of my other favorite underrated movies, The Favorite.
Yeah, I know Tony McNamara. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see The Favorite?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, he wrote that.
No, I didn't see
Emma Stone. Oh,
fucking
Emma Favorite's so good.
I'm not a huge Yorgos, whatever his name is. His movies are really weird, and his acting is so like all of his movies are like this. They're so like monotone and weird. I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of it.
No, the Favorite's really cheeky. Like The Favorite's it's a really like scandalous movie.
So
that being said,
I started watching WandaVision, which I finished, and I started watching Falcon and Winter Soldier. And when I'm watching it, I realize there's so many things that I forgot about the MCU, because there's a lot of movies that I haven't watched in a while, like Iron Man 2, Thor, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2, actually. So I've been binging and rewatching the entire Marvel series. I'm almost done. I'm on a Black Panther right now.
Favorites. What are your favorites?
Iron Man 1 is just such a classic, man. You forget how fucking good that really it really painted the general canvas for the entire world. So that one is so good. Guardians 1, probably close
That's
second.
my favorite.
Yeah, probably close second. Just because it's so funny, and that Iron Man movies are funny too, but they're like kind of like, Robert Downey Jr. like quirky funny, whereas like Guardians is like legitimately like joke written, like that movie I would consider a comedy as well.
They got my dick message.
Yeah. And then and Guardians 2 is actually like that too, and then Thor Ragnarok for sure.
Yeah.
So far.
Winter Soldier is up there too. Winter Soldier, just like that crazy like spy espionage
Winter
stuff.
Soldier, yes, 1000%, and that set the tone for like the Avengers. All right,
before we go on, I got to do one more movie plug. My movie of the year. Did you watch Mitchell's versus the Machines yet?
I have not. So let's move on.
How connected it? All right, let's go.
So this segment's gonna be called "Fuck This Shit," where for 1 minute we bitch about something about the A's that's bothering us. So each of us is gonna do 1 minute. And then we'll move on to the way too early trade deadline talk. Julio, would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I'll start first.
All right.
I'll go ahead and time me. Give me 1 minute on the clock. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give 1 minute. It's just pretty much a venting session, and tell me when my 1 minute starts.
All right. Tell me when you're ready.
Now, count me down from 3, and I'm ready to go.
3, 2, 1.
Frankie, my man. What has happened to you? 2019, you were a borderline. You were going to be starting the All-Star game. You were looking like you were going to be getting a Cy Young favorite, and you got busted for PEDs, which, hey, that happens. You want to advance your game? You got busted, serve the time, you learn from it. But ever since then, man, we haven't seen that guy anymore. What the hell is going on? What's like your ERA is over 4 or 5. You're starting to see the rest of your rotation guys are starting to catch up and figuring things out, but you still can't. What's going on, man? And we're pushing that. I think Frankie's going to be a fantastic option in the bullpen. I think once Jesus is ready to kind of come up, he's going to be your bullpen piece. But man, if you don't get your shit together, the bullpen's not even going to be an option. You're going to be sent out in a trade deadline.
You want to finish that up, or is that it? I'll give you like.
I yield my time. I yield my time.
You what?
I yield my time.
Oh, you yield the time. Okay. Yeah, man, I could not agree with you more, dude. I mean, he should though. So we're gonna get into this in this next segment because like all of my trade talk guys are pitchers. Some of them are starters. But let's just fucking move them to the bullpen. We need help in the bullpen anyway. There's not a lot of bullpen guys available, really, from what I'm seeing, that could really service us for what we need. Like, just fucking put them there and let's go get a starter. Anyway. All
right, Chris. Let me know when you are ready, and I'll count you down from 3.
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
Murph, bro, what the fuck? At the beginning of the season, I'm telling you, I was like this fucking close to buying a Kelly Green jersey of yours because I was like, this guy's the future of our team. He had an amazing rookie season. In my opinion, he was robbed of the rookie of the year last year. He looked like he was going to be the face of our team, especially with, some arbitration situation and contracts coming up with Matt Chapman and stuff like that. He was great on both the defensive end and the offensive end. Say what you want about his average, like he plays in Oakland, so he's not going to hit like 280 or anything like that. But if you can hit like 265 and up, I'm a happy camper. If you can hit like 20 something home runs, I'm a happy camper. But not only, Julio, is he not doing it on the offensive end, he's not doing it on the defensive end. That guy gives up so many pass balls. It's mind blowing. Yesterday's game, he gave up 2 in one batter. Like, I don't know what the situation is. I don't know if he's lost confidence. I don't know if he's just like, it's something with his freak injury, or I'm almost done. Freak injury he had in the offseason. But dude, you got to get this shit together because you can still throw out guys, but you're hitting 209. You got 5 home runs. And
all right, the court of order.
And you're giving up pass balls.
All right. You're not wrong. I don't like, I'm not pushing you against that argument, but I think the biggest point to go against it is say sophomore slump.
We've seen too many sophomore slumps in the A's history that have just been like devastating. I don't think we can afford one at the catcher position. So like, I don't give a shit. There's no excuse. Like, you got to be better.
Well, and also thankfully, I think Aramis Garcia has actually filled in pretty solid overall.
Lately, yeah, he's been better.
Lately, he's been pretty.
He was bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel better? How do you feel? Like, I feel like I finally got some grief. Like, and here's the biggest thing about our thing here. We're like Chris just said, he wants a Murph jersey. I thought Montas was going to be our Cy Young favorite last year. We're rooting for these guys, and that's why we're doing this. You got some tough love.
Yeah, tough love, baby. All right, so let's move on to the final segment. The way too early trade deadline talk. I think it's pretty obvious the main need that we have, Julio. I don't know if you want to start with that or if you want to. I don't know. Where do you want to start with this? All mine are pitchers. All of mine.
Okay, so I actually wanted to start with the root on why we're talking about this. Again, shameless plug for The Athletic. I feel like they should be paying us at some point. I don't think they do sponsors, but they'd be a lot cooler if they did. Melissa Lockhart and Alex Coffey had a joint article written with the Pirates beat writer, whose name escaped me off the top of my head. But they pretty much are talking about, hey, the A's need relievers. The Pirates actually have a pretty solid reliever available right now, and Richard Rodriguez. And they played a little trade deadline like, hey, what do you think it would take to get this guy? And they went through like a really fun solution of like, what would make sense? Because with someone like a team like the Pirates, who they're going to be at least 3 years away from contention. Mm-hmm. It's no worth getting a guy who's in AAA right now. So like, okay, well, who do you have in AA or high single A that would be viable that could be ready in 2-3 years?
So this is specifically a trade offer for Richard Rodriguez. Is that what you're going for? Kind of.
Yeah. So
I understand. I'm a little confused.
Yeah, so that was pretty much the reason with the trade. And they found like a pretty middle ground where they're like, okay, Rich Rodriguez for a pitcher, and then Barrera. And it's like, okay, cool. We agree. That's a solid trade.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like an inspiration of this. I think and the big reason why they did this in this article now was it's the early bird gets the worm. You're better off trading for somebody within this next month than you are for trade deadline. Because guess what? The price is going to shoot up.
Yeah, I mean, pay either 75 cents on the dollar or sorry, pay equivalent dollar for dollar, or maybe get a little value, $1.50 on the dollar, as opposed to paying fucking, overpaying for what you're doing. That analogy, I reverse that. Yeah, 75 cents on the dollar instead of paying $1.50 for a dollar. Like let's get some worth out of this. That's an interesting Luis Barrera. I'm so down for that. It would be a rental, that's the thing, but the thing we're missing is definitely, of a lot of the things that we're missing with the bullpen, is a closer, because the battle between Diekman and Trevino is, we're missing out on wins every once in a while when one of them misses. So we definitely could speed it up. So my pitches for starting pitchers, I found some pretty interesting ones. That they're all rentals except for one.
So let's go ahead and separate this out real quick, because we talked about this last night as well.
Mm-hmm.
Give me your I've had a few beers trade for a starter. So like pretty much like it could be unrealistic. And then give me your one that makes more sense.
Oh, I forgot about that. And I don't have like an insane one. All mine are pretty reasonable.
Okay. Go on. I'm all ears.
So, but my big blockbuster one is we need like a true closer, right? Ian Kennedy for Texas has been killing it this season at the closer position. He is on an expiring contract this season. Let me just check that to be sure. But he is on what I believe to be an expiring contract this year, so he would be a rental. So everything I was telling you about this last night, everything about this situation sucks, because we paid $10 million Kevin Rosenthal is a writer. Trevor Rosenthal to be our closer, and he's maybe gonna play a month or two for us if he comes back in time. So everything about this fucking sucks, and that's money that we could be giving to Marcus, who's probably going to start second base for the American League All-Star game. It's just like, yeah, everything about it's a total bummer, but this is what we got. This is what we have to deal with. So closer position is something that we have to figure out. Ian Kennedy's a free agent in 2022. He's on a minor league deal. He's 36 years old. That's weird. He's on a minor league deal right now, so he's not getting paid very much. It doesn't have the number for me exactly right here. So it'd be a pretty cheap one, but realistically, we're going to have to give up a prospect for that, which I'm fine with that. Maybe a prospect, kind of on the middle end, I would say, like maybe a Luis Barrera, that might work. I don't necessarily know what their needs are right now, but I think it'd be totally worth it, because then we'll get some kind of stability in the bullpen. We know who our closer is, and then we can figure out what the roles are of Diekman and Trevino. Probably Diekman's a setup, and then Trevino's the guy, the seventh inning guy. That'd be great. At least we have some clarity of what's going on back there, instead of like shuffling around with these guys and trying to figure out who can go in and who how many innings are going to go and kind of what they're doing. The only rock we have down there right now is Petit.
Love it. I like that. Somebody, I didn't think about that. I'm glad you kind of looked it up, because yeah, Ian Kennedy, I think he's on your team too. He's on your fantasy. What, Rosie?
Yeah, he is on my fantasy.
Yeah, he's been rock solid out there, and he was in Texas as their closer. The weird thing is, to me, like, it seems like there's a trend going on in baseball that there's only like a few teams, let me rephrase this. There's only been a few like the top teams who have a consistent closer at this point, where a lot of the teams are kind of going to the more new school of closer by committee kind of thing. Like the Dodgers were doing it for a minute. I want to say the Rays are doing it right now because Nick Anderson's still out. And I don't really see the back of the pen being a big issue, because at the end of the day, I still really love Diekman and Trevino. I think to me, it's more of just burnout with those guys that, so how much of that bullpen's been hurt. We brought it up last week where like, I don't think either of them expected to be the closer going into the season. And you're kind of you're figuring your shit out more or less, because like, think about it. When you get a new job, it takes you roughly 2 to 3 months until you're really comfortable with it, when you really start understanding things. These guys have been this role for roughly 2 to 3 months at this point. So like, I think if you don't see any progression with these guys over this next month, then you got to be like, all right, what's going on? We need to get a closer kind of thing.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah. As somebody who's going through a newish job right now, but I love the Kennedy trade because like, if anything, depth. That's what this team needs right now.
It moves everybody down. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like that, then we, then we're not burning out certain guys, because now, and then we kind of know who our long guys are. We know who our middle guys are, and we know who our end of the game guys are.
Love it. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and jump in with one of mine then.
Cool.
You're cool with it. So I'm going to stay back there. I hope you didn't write this person down. I talked about it last night a little bit when we did our pre-show. The bullpen's a problem, and I think something that we've been pretty, for the lack of better words, disappointed in is the contributions of just our lefties out of the pen besides Diekman. And there's somebody that is on an expiring contract as well, is on a pretty cheap contract, and I think a lot of us would be really happy if this happened, and that is Sean Doolittle. Sean Doolittle is currently with the Cincinnati Reds. He took off he was playing for a couple of games last year. Excuse me. And then he sat out the rest of the season, just COVID.
Well, his wife has a disease and he didn't want to.
Yeah, she was high risk. So it wasn't, or is high risk. It wasn't worth kind of putting through that. And he got a pretty cheap deal this year. He's kind of coming off a rocky 2019 that even though the Nats won the World Series, he had a 4. I just had it in front of me. There we go.
He had a role that year.
He did. Yes. Yeah. He had over a 4 ERA. Last year had a 5.87. But this year with Cincinnati, keep in mind playing half his games in Cincinnati, which is a hitter's park. He has a 3.6 ERA, which you got to take that. He's 37 years old. He's played some really major games in Oakland. He's been there. He's the fans love him. Actually gave him a shout out when I was at a Reds Dodgers game a few weeks ago.
His strikeout rate's still really good though. I mean, he has 28 strikeouts and 22 appearances. That's really good. Yeah, and it was I can't remember if we talked about the story on the pod, but I was at a Reds Dodgers game a few weeks ago, and with the new Dodgers renovations in the outfield, you can walk up to the bullpen, like the gate right there. And I walked up to him and he was warming up. Like, hey, Sean, we miss you in Oakland. Have a good season. He kind of gave me a wave and made my heart melt. This hat right here signed by him.
Yeah. Like, dude, imagine how crazy Oakland would go if they bring him back. And,
be fucking amazing.
And it's not just because it's a fan favorite thing. He's actually been pitching pretty well. He's on a cheap contract. And the Reds are in a really weird place that they're not far from contending. They were a playoff team last year. Trevor Bauer was there. You got a Cy Young there. So maybe you can kind of give away one of these guys who are maybe like a lower end AAA starter for him. So I'm thinking something along the lines of Grant Holmes, where it seems like things are kind of falling off.
Person that came to mind.
Yeah, where you can kind of like the Reds are almost there. If you give them like maybe a 4-5 starter to help them out, that might be enough. And it would bring Dew back to Oakland. To quote the great Dick Callahan, Sean Doolittle.
Thank you for that. I like that a lot. That'd be great. For all those reasons. Where do you think he would fit in? You think he'd be like he'd probably a middle relief, like before Trevino and Diekman?
Yeah. I think it'd be more middle relief guy. I kind of picture him. Let's see how many innings he's pitched. He's pitched 22 games. He's pitched about 19 innings, so I don't think he can be like the kind of workhorse role as Petit is. But I think definitely like if you're going to be and going up against like a lefty heavy lineup, cool. Sean's going to go out there and pitch you a couple innings, or he's going to pitch you an inning. And I think the biggest thing too is like it would be a good jolt, and it kind of goes back to something that we talked about in the past with this show is that a big thing about this new guys that we're bringing in lately is they win. They know what it takes to win. They've been a part of those teams, and Sean being a part of that 2019 Nationals team will be a huge
fantastic
game changer.
Actually. It's a fantastic point. I didn't even think about that. All right. I'm going to do mine all in a cluster because they're all starters. And more or less we're trying to get them for all the same reason. It's not like one for a certain thing. Michael Pineda, Minnesota, starting pitcher. Kyle Gibson, Texas. Matthew Boyd, Detroit. So Pineda and Boyd would be rentals. They are on this is the last year of their contract, so they would be gone next year. Kyle Gibson is a free agent in 2023, so we'd have another year of him. This goes back to what you said about Frankie. Move Frankie to the bullpen. He's not cutting it as a starter anymore. He has 2 good innings, and then he gets lit up. And like every 5th start, he looks like the greatest pitcher in the history of baseball. But like, I am not willing to risk 1 start a month to get that. I'm just not willing to risk it. So let's get in a guy who they're not going to be an ace, but they're going to be a solid starting pitcher, like the Tanner Roark deal that we did a couple of years ago. Just a solid veteran ground guy to be in the middle of the rotation. Because to be honest with you, I was telling Julio this earlier today, might be a hot take. Sean Manaea is looking like an ace right now. I would feel comfortable with him going in starting a game 1 of an ALDS, ALCS World Series. I would feel good about sending in Chris Bassett game 2. I would feel good about Jesus Luzardo pitching game 3. But then when it comes to game 4, not very confident in Cole Irvin. Game 5, not very confident in Mike Fiers, which it sounds like he's probably going to be out for the season, which is a bummer. But anyway, definitely not confident in Frankie to go out there for game 4. Like, it's just like we need consistency. That's probably our biggest issue this season. And all these guys are consistently very above average, top of the rotation guys. And I would be willing, especially after seeing what Cap does. And Cap, look, I love Cap, but I just don't think that he's quite ready for a playoff start.
He's a rookie at the end of the day, right?
But he's a future building block. So next year he can get that opportunity if we get one of these guys, it's a rental. Seeing that Cap has panned out, and he's a really good pitcher and probably going to be a cornerstone in the future of our rotation. We got AJ Puck coming around the corner, hopefully going to be healthy next year. If not, whatever. I would be willing to trade Dalton Jeffries, or so to kind of like the top of our prospect pitching personnel. I'd be willing to trade Dalton Jeffries. I'd be willing to and maybe package him with like Logan Davidson or Luis Barrera, depending on what they need in the infield or in their fielding. We might have to throw another guy in there, maybe a proven vet, depending on who it is. Minnesota would probably want a proven vet, but I would assume Texas and Detroit would want prospects in the higher end or the upper minor leagues that are going to like kind of be ready to play soon. But so like maybe a Logan Davidson, Dalton Jeffries, and a Nick Allen. I mean, I'd be willing to give him Nick Allen too if they need more middle infield. Ideally not, but I'd be willing to do it. Or it's just like, I think it could help tremendously, and I'd be willing to pay big money for it.
I really like the Kyle Gibson one.
Because we have another year with him.
Yeah, but no. Well, yes, no, yes, and no. Yes, because I think like he's been fantastic. I think he's been really underrated this season in Texas, and there's not a lot of talk about him.
1,000%.
Yeah, he's been excellent out there. I know the Rangers don't have a lot going for them right now besides Adolis Garcia and him. He's definitely one of the guys you should check out. That being said, I feel like this is the last year of this team's run. And I don't see this. If they're going to be running this team like they have been, I don't see them kind of wanting to hold on to somebody like him again for another year, unless they want to keep that and then flip in the offseason kind of thing, like what they did with Jeff Samardzija all those years ago.
So I was wrong. Matthew Boyd is actually free agent in 2023, so he's another guy who's like that.
Got it. And then Matthew Boyd, I think he's going to be sticking in that rotation for a bit. I really like. He's awesome. He's had a really fantastic year this year. He's really come back after like a shaky 2020. But I think the Tigers are going to stick with him because like he's still relatively young.
Yeah.
I think they're not too far away from being a contending team again, probably like another couple years. But Michael Pineda, yes, absolutely. I think he's somebody who could really be a big game changer. His best year ever was in 2011 when he was a rookie in Seattle. And guess what? Pitchers Park, he thrived. He became an all-star. And he never, in all these years of pitching New York, he never became that guy. And he seems like the most logical. And like you could probably kind of go along the lines of like a Doolittle trade I was mentioning where like you can probably get away with giving away a back end AAA starter for him.
You're right.
Like,
Kyle Gibson would probably be a little bit more money. Or a little bit more to give up. But you do make a good point, though, Julio. If they are going to hit the reset button this offseason, which cross my fingers, I hope they don't, that is an asset that they could use to get more prospects to a contending team. Like, let's say a team that just comes up a little bit short this year, has a terrible rotation. Cough, cough, the Yankees. If they end up just, coming up a little bit short, they could use some real starting pitching.
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and move on to my next. These next two guys are going to be a little illogical, to say the better.
I was going to say you're going to move on to your next one. I clumped all my last ones together. So you. All right,
I'm going to okay
for the rest of the segment. So go ahead.
Fantastic. Well, this is my official. I've had a few
boom,
beers.
Boom,
this is my official. I've had a few beers here. Right,
yeah.
Sponsored by Modern Times
Beer.
Yep. Charlie Blackmon. Charlie Blackmon is going to be a pending free agent in the offseason. He is
I think Trevor Story too.
Look, I know a lot
I'm kidding.
Yeah, a lot of beat writers, a lot of people like, oh, they're ready to go after. But guess what, dude? Elvis Andrus is hitting over 300 in his last. Maybe they're just gonna throw him in the pot there. But honestly, I really love Elvis. He's really kind of clung to me. But anyways, Charlie Blackmon's gonna be a pending free agent. I think where something this team needs that is just at least in the outfield area. Besides, Mark Canha is an on-base machine. Ramon is, what you're going to get out of him. But I think if you really want to be a serious contender in the AL, I think you need one more guy who's really going to complement them well. And Charlie Blackmon would be a fantastic piece. He's going to be a pending free agent as well. He's going to be turning 35. And, I don't know what his numbers are outside of Coors Field, but like the guy most of his career has just been a hitter. He just hits.
Yeah.
I love Steven Piscotty. I think, obviously he means so much to the organization and to the East Bay for everything he's done for ALS awareness with, obviously it was Lou Gehrig's days. So we're going to acknowledge that, but it's just so hard to depend on him right now to be a consistent hitter where like you kind of have to be aware, like this might be it for this team. And going out there and acquiring somebody like Charlie Blackmon, a career 301 hitter or 302 hitter, I'm sorry, to be your everyday right fielder. Piscotty can come in and fill in the days off, or he can come be a DH. I think that might be a better role for him. In terms of what this is going to take, this kind of brings in the guy I was talking shit about earlier with Frankie Montas.
Can I ask you a question before you do that?
Yes.
Oh, you're part of the okay. Sorry, I thought you were moving on to the next guy you were thinking.
No.
Sorry,
Yeah, I think
part of the trade. Got it. My bad.
I think Frankie would be a part of this deal. We'll see how Frankie's going to do this weekend because he's going to be pitching in Colorado, but that might be one of the places he might thrive a little bit because he relies a lot on his swing and miss stuff.
Yeah.
Just because he throws like a high 90s fastball and he's got that splitter going, and that might benefit him. And then you would probably have to give up one to hire, so probably like a Luis Barrera. So like Frankie Montas, Luis Barrera would probably be a part of that trade, and maybe one more piece.
I'm trying to think of outfielders that in our system. I think Luis Barrera is the top outfielder prospect, if I remember correctly. Ah, damn, I lost the pitch. It doesn't matter. I like that a lot. I just don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if Charlie Blackmon would be willing to play right field. So then you're convinced.
No, he's a right fielder.
Oh, I thought he was a center fielder.
No,
Have they moved him to right the past few years? Because he used to be a center fielder.
I think as he's gotten older, because what's his name? Tapia plays center.
Yeah, his steals have gone down. I think he's definitely lost a step. Steals have gone down a lot, actually.
Yeah, it says it has him listed as center. But I like Tapia plays center consistently. They have him listed as an outfielder, but he seems like one of those guys.
I'm looking at games by position right now. And he is at he's pretty split. He's split right down the middle, right field and outfield, 47 games. So he probably plays half the game in right, or center, half the game in right, yeah.
And I think he would be fantastic. He's somebody you could easily put in anywhere in the lineup and he's going to be productive. And it's weird, we were kind of clamoring for some middle infield depth for the longest time, but it seems like when Pinder came back, Tony Kemp started hitting again. Jed's kind of falling in a lull, but he's there. And then Elvis has been on fire as well. So
you're right. Right field. He started every game in right field. He hasn't played a single game in center field. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah. And my last piece, and this is definitely a I've had a few beers moment here. Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer. He's going to be free agent.
Yeah, fucking right.
This isn't going to happen. But here's my pipe dream. We don't need to talk about it a lot. Max Scherzer is going to be a free agent. Arguably the best pitcher of this last decade. And this is somebody who's going to be it's going to be an arms race to get this guy. But I swear to God, if you got Max Scherzer in a rotation with Chris Bassett, Sean Manaea, Jesus Luzardo in a 4-game series, that's a World Series team.
Dirty,
yeah. And if you can get one more bullpen guy, that's it. He is somebody that we've been clamoring for to have. We're not going to talk about John Lester
to get him. What do we have to give up to get him? No, this is a different level. John Lester was top tier pitcher, but this is the top tier pitcher. You know what I mean?
You're going to have to give up a lot. I think Frankie, you're going to have to give up some guys who are major league ready right now, which one I think for sure would be Frankie. And I think the Nats are a fantastic organization where they're going to be able to help him out and fix whatever problems he does have. But you're going to have to give up some high prospect guys. And to be honest, Tyler Soderstrom, see him, man. You're probably going to have to piece out with him. And then
AJ Puck might have to be in that.
Maybe AJ Puck. But at the end of the day,
with those guys.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, man, this might be it. Bomel's contract is also expiring at the end of the year.
Did he sign an extension a couple of years?
No, this might be the last year for him as well. Canna is going to be a free agent. This might be all in for this team. So if this is really going to be it, then why not just put in all your chips at the table and just kind of, because look, Tyler Soderstrom has been fantastic playing in single A right now, but the odds are he's going to have to change position because Murph is up. And we'll see how that happens. And the Nats are ready to win right now. Next year, they can easily come back and win the East. They're in last right now, and they could still turn things around. Who knows? But if they don't, I think David Forrest and Billy Beane should be calling them and saying, yo, here's what we want for Scherzer. We want us to win us a World Series.
So Jesse asked me this. My buddy Jesse asked me this question the other day. Well, let me ask you this. So he was talking with his buddy, his friend, and this era, and we're considering it from basically 2010 to late 2000s / 2010 to now. The best left-handed pitcher of this current era, Clayton Kershaw. Who would you say is the best right-handed pitcher? I debated between basically two guys, one of them being Scherzer.
Is it the Verlander?
Yeah.
Scherzer.
That's what I
think we've talked about this
because he won a World Series legitimately. 2, he's never really had a downward slope. He's always been consistently one of the top 5 best pitchers in the league. And yeah, and it's funny because they both came from the same place in Detroit, but yeah.
Actually, he came from Arizona or started in Arizona. But also in the last decade, he's won three Cy Young awards.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not going to happen.
No, I think they're scarred. I think Billy's definitely scarred from Lester, because that team was the World Series favorite that year until that Lester trade.
But if he did, it'd be pretty cool. And I would buy a Max Scherzer A's jersey, and I will hang it right there for our podcast.
I wonder if Max Scherzer has a pickoff move. Sorry, I'm bringing up old wounds. I had to make a joke about it.
I hate
All right,
about that.
let's finish up the pod, Julio. Or wait, do you have another one?
No, that was it. I just hope they're going to be aggressive. I think they really need to be aggressive, especially with this might be it kind of thing.
Yeah, and really think about how they can maneuver their roster to get the best. Yeah, and at least they got a couple wins in the series without Ramon, so that makes me a little bit happy. But yeah, all right. Upcoming schedule this week, folks. We are going to Colorado, as Julio said about 2 minutes ago. Playing the Rockies this weekend, and then we got the Diamondbacks for a 2-game series. Beginning of next, that will be back home. I don't know, man. I would go into these series being super confident if you asked me 2 weeks ago, but like the way they've been playing this past week, I'm fucking worried. And losing Ramon, who's been our best player this season.
So there's something I actually wanted to bring up, and I'm glad you've kind of voiced your concern about how they've been playing lately. And
it's the reason why we did fuck this shit this episode.
And there's a couple things I think we need to be aware of before we kind of because I was kind of on the bridge. Or I was on the ledge, kind of talking myself out of this.
On the bridge, about to jump off. Whoa.
Yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? But they've just finished 16 days in a row of games.
Fantastic.
A lot, yeah. And they've been traveling. They went to Seattle and to Anaheim. We're back in the Bay Area. Even though still 16 days in a row when there's no break in between travel, tiresome. And it's June. For some reason, historically throughout this bull mail run, they just start tearing it up in June consistently. And even throughout the lull, and it's interesting kind of hearing, I was listening to the game mostly through the radio broadcast, and it was interesting to hear, May felt like the worst month. May felt so terrible. They still finished above 500. So you got 2 consecutive months over 500.
Really?
Yeah, and at the end of the day, dude, you'll take it. Not many teams can say consistently they finished over 500 in over a month span. But I feel pretty optimistic, man. Especially after tonight, seeing how Sean pitched, seeing how the offense really started clicking again, especially after last night too. Something about the turning over of the calendar really changes things a lot. Not just with people, but especially with this team. Something happens with them when they turn the calendar. They really take on a whole nother life. So my hope is for this next week, just tear the shit out of the ball in Colorado and, take advantage of some bad pitching from Arizona next week.
So when Delkin threw off of a mound.
Oh, thank God.
yesterday. So that's looking good. It looks like Fires is done for the season. They don't even have an update on what the fuck he's doing. So maybe we'll be seeing him back soon. But yeah, I mean, Laureano going to the IL is brutal. I would imagine we see Pinder in the outfield a lot more in the next few days. Although Seth Brown's been good, but I mean, Pinder's Chad Pinder. It just worries me. I don't know. I mean, Chappie needs to really figure it out. I don't know if it's the injury, the hip injury, that's really bugging his swing, but we could really use, top 10 MLB player Matt Chapman right now. We could really use them, and Mitch Moreland's been hitting better, which is really nice. Elvis has been hitting better, which is really great. Canna's still consistently being Mark Canna. So guys are definitely stepping it up a little bit, but our 2 stars, Olsen's kind of been taking a step back, which is frustrating. And then Chapman's been underwhelming all season.
Yeah, which historically Chappie's been a streaky dude.
Yeah.
And So like, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt with that. But I beg to disagree with Olsen. I think he's been really killing it lately. He's not going to be my guy in a knowledge this week, but I think he's, I don't
want to get too close to that.
Yeah. Don't. He's handsome. Don't talk about my handsome boy like that.
Okay.
But like when All-Star nods start coming around, I think he's probably going to be the guy to rep the team in Colorado.
Really? Over Minaya?
Yeah. Like, I think he's not going to start. He's not going to be the starting first baseman. That's going to be Vladdy. But I think, I don't see why he shouldn't be the number 2.
He does have 15 home runs. Like he's what, second in the American League and like what, 5th in the total league. Like that's yeah. All right, Julio, who's your player of the week?
Welcome back, Jesus Luzardo. Man,
nice.
What a return back. Even though it was in the pen, he really kind of was lights on this last week. He only pitched 4 innings, but despite that, he 7 strikeouts in 4 innings.
He only began the comeback yesterday, bro.
Yeah, he only gave up 1 walk, 2 hits. He got a win yesterday. Huge. He really looks like he's getting his confidence back on the mound again, and it's so exciting to see that. Maybe this last month is really kind of weighed down on him. The fastball was really getting high up there. He was being accurate. He was being decisive with this curveball. I hope this is just the start of things that come with them, because he's looked excellent out of the pen, and we got to celebrate that a bit. So Jesus Luzardo, my play of the week, baby.
Yeah, I like the team. The offense kind of like rallied around his just domination yesterday when he came in, and like they were down 4-0. Like there's not really much to really be like positive about and getting the late innings, and he started just like dealing, and the guys really just kind of rallied around it. And like you don't want to say pitching is part of offense, but when you're pitching like that, it kind of is, man. It's like it's contagious. You're just like you're in the zone and you're ready to just fucking go. So I like that pick. Mine is gonna be. Look, man, when you pitch a complete game shutout, only allow 4 hits, you get my player of the week. Sean Manaea. Like I said, he has been our ace. I feel comfortable going into a playoff series with him leading off game 1, 8 strikeouts. He's got a 3.36 ERA on the season. Consistent. Like he had a bad outing, last outing, major comeback this past outing, 4-2 record. He will be our all-star, Julio. That's who I'm saying is if there's only one, I mean, we are in first place, so we probably should get a couple. So we'll see. But he's my guy.
I think it would have been if Ramon was going to be healthy. I think it would have been like Ramon, Ollie, and I thought you when you said complete game shutout, I was like Bassett. I'm like, oh, that's right. But now it happened too.
Yeah, happened right in front of our eyes while we were recording this
podcast. Exciting.
No, Ramon would have gone. Definitely would have gone.
Hopefully he still can. Hopefully he comes back soon enough where he can go on a tear.
He's only on 10-day DL, so we'll see. It's strained, but whatever. All right, Julio, your essential tailgate tool of the week last week was Seth Brown, 2 for 22. 9 strikeouts.
I'm on a cold streak with this tailgate tool, man.
You are. But I'm on a hot streak. Cam Bedrosian, baby. 2 1/3 innings. Only gave up 3 hits, no earned runs. That's my guy. I told you he would be an important piece of the bullpen this next coming week, and he came in yesterday he came in the beginning, but the inning before that, or the game before that, not so much. But you get what I'm saying. It was a blowout, and he just kind of. But anyway, he's been good. Reason to keep him around.
Absolutely. That's the biggest thing. And it's depth. We need depth.
Exactly. All right. Who's your ETT this week?
I'm nervous because I'm on a cold streak. But okay. You know what? It's going down. I'm yelling Pinder.
In the DMs? Oh.
No. Yeah, Chad Pinder, especially with Ramon out.
He's going to be so crucial with Ramon out for sure.
Yeah, with Ramon being out, no DH as well. I think they're definitely going to give Jed some additional days off when he needs it. I know Chappie, who knows how he's feeling with his hip. Elvis had like a weird, not really, he didn't get injured tonight, but he had like kind of a weird fall. And of course, Piscotty, we know we're going to get out of him. I'm hoping that Pinder is really going to start showing that power, man, especially going against in Colorado and going against a bad rotation in Arizona. He's really going to show that Pinder power. So this week I am swiping right on Pinder.
He did not play today, so I would imagine we'll probably see him tomorrow. Nice. I dig it. I dig that for sure. All right, I'm going with Mitchie Two Bags. You will probably see him hit in the lineup every single game this coming week. With Ramon out, it moves everybody down in the lineup. So he's been hitting fourth. You will probably
hold on. I just want to stop you for a second. If he's going to be hit, where's he going to be playing? There's no DH.
Oh, that's a good point. We're playing 2 national league teams. Fuck.
Even though,
think about that.
According to MLB The Show, he is left field eligible, but no way in shit he's going to be out there.
Hey, he's on a hot streak too, but Olsen went.
I know.
Today. That sucks.
And you're not gonna, huh?
Put Olsen in right.
Olsen is also outfield eligible.
No, he won't.
I know. Get weird. Why not? Screw it.
All right. Well, then I'm gonna switch it to Jed Lowry because with Ramon out, everybody anyway. It's still he's not been playing well. That's why I didn't want to. It was between those two. He's hitting 241 right now. Jed's got to get it back, especially with Ramon out. The top of that lineup, everybody moves down one, so he's gonna, or everybody moves up one, so he's got to really step it up at that 2 hole. Although I think he's been hitting 2. I think Ramon's been hitting 3, right? And then Olsen hits 4. Yeah, this is extremely important. Oh God, who's gonna hit 4th now? Oh man, this National League lineup is gonna be a fucking mess, bro. Then you put Murph at 4?
Kemp 4. Why not?
He's gotten a couple.
He's been hot.
Man, this sucks. I'm not so confident going into these series anymore. No.
No. Well, the Houston series
or the Houston. Put Elvis Andrus, who's been hitting well, at 2, and then you could put Lowry at 3, or Elvis at 3.
He does he loves rewarding guys for hitting hot, so that could be a possibility.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with Lowry, and I don't feel very confident about it because you got me. You threw a curveball at me, and I didn't realize it. So let's just go with Lowry. Boom. Type it up there.
Yeah.
All right. Oh God. All right, we're ending the podcast on a negative note, but it is what it is. For me, not for you. I like your pick a lot.
I'm happy about it.
All right, don't rub it in. Any last things to say before we end it for the Ace fans out there?
Not really, but
brush your teeth.
Yeah, make sure to brush your teeth, wash your face twice a day.
Use the buddy system.
Yeah. But also, it's June, so we just got that out there, man. Happy Pride Month, celebrating all of our loved ones and everybody else in the LGBTQ plus community. The A's are doing a Pride Night next Friday. I wish I could go. They're giving away a rainbow rally towel, which sounds awesome. So if any of our lovely listeners get an extra and are more than willing to send one out to one of us, I will gladly hang it amongst the rest of my A's stuff.
Next to the
hold on. I got a quote for you. Behold my stuff. These are my guns, Dez and Troy.
And destroy, and together they are destroy. That movie is underratedly funny.
Ragnarok is so awesome. Hey mate.
Also, my birthday is on Friday, so everybody wish me a happy birthday.
It's my birthday.
Does he say that right?
Oh. Yeah, because when they're driving Jeff Goldblum's plane, where to get this? Because it's my birthday.
The orgy plane. All right. Well, it's actually my birthday, so wish me a happy birthday.
Go watch Thor Ragnarok. Ah, God, I've been wanting to rewatch that.
I just watched it.
I know. I'm telling to the audience. It's
go watch it.
Awesome movie. It's such a good movie.
All right, that'll do it for Town Tailgate this week. Thank you so much for listening. Please go follow, subscribe, rate, review. Tell us what you think. If you just want to just talk to us and be like, "Hey, man, that's a cool Steph Curry jersey on the back of your wall," I'll be like, "Thanks, bro."
Hey man.
It. And then let sorry, Julio's waiting for me to end the pod. But also, Don't forget to follow the Around the Diamond podcast network. We are a member of the Around the Diamond podcast network where we fuck shit up there. Last but not least, Julio.
Let's go, Oakland.
The Town Tailgate is an independently produced podcast. It is written and executive produced by this guy, Chris Madrigal, and my partner in crime, Julio Reynoso. It is sound mixed and edited by yours truly. Social media management and marketing is run by, once again, my partner, Julio Reynoso. And a special thanks and shout out to my brother, Larry Madrigal, for composing and producing our theme song, as well as graphic designing our album cover and artwork. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Please tune in next week. Please subscribe. And last but not least, as we always say, let's go, Oakland.